Example 11, we are deriving 1 plus 4x squared all raised to the minus 1/2 power. Nothing really makes this one too terribly complicated. It's just you're looking at a minus 1/2 power. So this example is more or less to prime you for example 12, which follows this one obviously, and how to handle when you have parentheses and powers in the denominator of a fraction. So let's just handle this for the time being, and then you'll see how this comes into play with example 12. So you choose to check out that example. So what is the outside function in this case? Outside function is parentheses to the minus 1/2 power. Nothing unusual is going to happen with this. We're still going to use the power rule despite the negative exponent. Okay, inside function is the thing on the inside of the parentheses. Okay, and then we derive this. So derive it as usual. You have a negative exponent. Who cares? Bring it down in front because that's what the power rule says. Then you subtract 1 from the exponent. All right, so what does this look like? It's going to give us minus 1/2 times the parentheses, and then you subtract 1 from negative 1/2. So how many halves does that give you? That gives you negative 3 halves. All right, it doesn't become positive because you're subtracting 1. All right, so if you like, I'll write this out. So you have minus 1/2 minus 1. You find a common denominator, do all that good stuff if you like. But this becomes minus 3 halves. All right. The inside gets carried along for the ride. Then you multiply by the derivative of the inside. Always make sure you put parentheses on this because it'll make your algebra life a lot easier. So derive the inside, you have 1 plus 4x squared. The derivative of that is going to be 8x. All right, now we want to simplify this a little bit. You could stop here if you were just asked to derive. If it says derive and simplify, follow me, just keep following along. So we have this negative 3/2 power that we need to worry about. That means that we need to bring this entire parentheses and this power down into the denominator. So let's do that. So we have minus 1/2 times 1 over 1 plus 4x squared, all raised to the positive 3/2. So whenever you have a negative exponent, it means that the thing with that exponent is in the wrong place of the fraction. Negative, wrong, bad. So put it in the correct place, it has a positive exponent. Okay? And of course you have to multiply it by this 8x because that was on the right-hand side of the above. Simplify a little bit more. Notice that we have a bunch of fractions here that are all being multiplied. So this gives us minus 8x over 2 times 1 plus 4x squared to the 3/2. Okay, now you have a minus 8 over 2. You can reduce that a little bit. Cancel out some of the 2's in that 8. So doing so, this gives you minus 4x because you cancel out one of the 2's and 8's in the 8 if you factored it. So you have 1 plus 4x squared all raised to the 3/2 power. And that is as simplified as it gets. Okay? So that was example 11. The only thing that made this special was the negative exponent at the very beginning. That'll help us in handling example 12.